Interviews can be a daunting experience, but preparing well can help with the anxiety we often associate with the interview process. First, prepare for the format of the interview. You will need to prepare differently depending on where and how the interview will take place. If it's an online video interview, you'll want to make sure all your IT equipment is working properly. Make sure you find a quiet space where you will not be interrupted, and even though you're on screen, make sure to dress appropriately. It is always better to be too smart than too casual. If it's an in-person interview, make sure you know exactly where and when the interview will take place. You may be interviewed by one person or by a panel, and in-person interviews will require more non-verbal communication, such as a firm handshake, good eye contact, and sitting naturally without fidgeting or slouching. Some companies will use assessment centres as a way of seeing multiple candidates on the same day. These can take the form of group work, presentations, and psychometric tests, which can include behavioural, numerical, verbal, and personality tests. You can practice these on our careers website. Next, you will want to prepare for the content of the interview. It can be easy to think that because you don't know what questions are coming up, that you cannot prepare for an interview, but there are definitely steps you can take that will help you to succeed. First, if possible, identify the type of interview it will be. There are lots of different types of interviews, including competency-based, strengths-based, motivational, and technical. It is common for employers to inform you of the type of interview and sometimes even provide a list of competencies they will ask you about. Knowing the type of interview will help you to know what the employer is looking for from candidates. Second, once you have identified the type of interview, start to prepare examples. You will never be able to answer questions word for word, and it's best not to learn answers off by heart, as this will come across rehearsed and not quite answer the question. However, if you have spent time identifying times you've displayed certain skills and strengths, it will be much easier to articulate these on the day. Third, use the STAR technique, which stands for Situation, Task, Action, and Result. It's a useful tool for constructing your answers at interview. It allows you to keep the flow and cover all the information the employer is looking for from you. Each of these elements will keep you on track when describing a time you displayed the skill, strength, or competency they're asking about. Remember to do your research on the company and the role you're applying for. Don't just do a quick Google search. Make sure you follow them on LinkedIn and understand the sector more widely. And finally, have some questions to ask at the end, whether that's about career progression or when you might hear back. A question or two always displays motivation and interest. You'll find lots of resources on how to prepare for interviews on our careers website, including our Interview 360 tool, where you can do a mock interview and receive AI feedback, or you can always book an appointment with a careers advisor.
Created using Powtoon.